Jay from Triple J's Pizza checking in. I decided to start answering a few questions that I've gotten over the years about business, food truck, marriage. Been married 25 years. We get a lot of questions about various topics. So I decided we're going to start posting some questions and answers to the best of my ability. All right? First one. I've got this question a lot. It's about folks that want to start a food business of some sort. Most people jump to the tippy top, which is like a restaurant. And I used to get, hey, I want to open a restaurant. What do you think? I want to open a restaurant? Well, what would be your advice? I used to always tell folks, you want to open up a restaurant? Don't open up a restaurant. Start with a food truck that you can be your test market. Most people know when you talk about real estate or even restaurants, it's all about location, location, location. And food is no different. If you have a food truck and your location ain't jumping, you could bounce. Move to another location, maybe this new neighborhood, new city, new town is loving what you're doing. But recently I have tweaked my advice on open a restaurant, open a food truck first, to even before all that, we should do something online in reference to your food craft before we even consider even getting a food truck. The reason why I would always push people to food trucks from starting a restaurant, if you open up a restaurant, you always want to look for a second generation restaurant to save you some money. What I mean by second generation restaurant means it was already a restaurant before you took it over. What they were selling is pretty irrelevant unless you open up a pizza joint. It's kind of irrelevant when it comes to exhaust, or the hood system. But other than that, most restaurants are going to have grease traps. They're going to have some type of hood system. They're going to have some type of storage, walk-ins, yada, yada, yada. That can save on some of the money and take it from being $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 investment to a $50,000 to $75,000 investment. As opposed to a food truck may run you from $30,000 to $75,000 to $100,000 for the whole thing, and then it's paid for. Even if you take out a loan, those loan payments will be a whole lot cheaper than rent and CAM and different insurances that you got to pay, as opposed to a restaurant. But 50, 30, 50, 60, 100,000 for a food truck is not enough for the sneeze at neither. So I've kind of said, hey man, instead of doing a food truck, even before you do that, what you should probably do is just start making what you want to make in your home and get your social media jumping. Just having people check you out on your social media, get up your following, show off your personality, show off whatever you make. Because to be honest, everyone thinks everybody is going to love their grandma's favorite whatever. Macaroni, cabbage, jerk chicken, ice cream, water ice. And that could be true, but you don't want to waste $300,000 on a restaurant, $75,000 on a food truck, when you can test the market, so to speak, by just making it on social media, and then maybe just give it away to some folk, church members, like we did with our pizza, team members, like we did with our kids on our son's sports teams growing up. All my kids, they were my guinea pigs for years and years and years in reference to my pizza. But we didn't have social media, and so I would wish I would have kind of took more video of that, took some picture. I took zero video of doing any of these things with my boys when we were little. But I wish I would have, because I could have just put it out to the world and got a social media following. With that social media following, the next step for me would be maybe start doing pop-ups. So now you can go to a restaurant owner like myself, or even a food truck operator, and say, hey, can I do my pop-up at your spot? It's probably gonna cost you some money, but if you got your social media following, 500, 5,000 or whatever, your pop-up should go fairly well because people that have been supporting you online will probably want to come check out your whatever you've been showing them, building up your social media. Location, location, location. You do a pop-up in one location, it doesn't go that well. Do a pop-up in another location. Oh, I do a little better. I do a pop-up in another location. Man, they loving me. And then still doing your social media following, you'll start hearing people say, hey, when that pop-up going to be back? Then that kind of will let you know, well, maybe these pop-ups ain't enough. Because people like me are like, well, I got to run my business first. You can only do pop-ups when I'm downtime or yada, yada, yada. You kind of want to have to get your own thing. At that point, you may consider getting a food truck. You can even rent a food truck before you try to buy a food truck. Everybody has an idea, once again, like their grandmom's apple pie is the best in the world. They already opened up a food truck. They already ran into the problems that are going to come. And now they're selling it or certainly renting it whenever they ain't got it going. So you rent off them, maybe do another food truck event, or you just buy a food truck, you know what I mean, and go from there, using the money from your pop-ups, even GoFundMes, to kind of get the money for the food truck. We did our food truck in 2015. By 2017, 18, 19, we were starting to lose money because people was calling us and wanting to shop with us when we wasn't going to have the food truck out. It was different odd days of the week, different odd times of the day, and the demand for us became so great that it was like, look, we need to have a spot that people can come to, that they can count on us getting their slice of pizza. So we decided, hey, we need to start looking for a spot. The good part about having a food truck and having a physical location, that restaurant can be your commissary, which is what you need when you have a food truck anyway. But then, like I said, open up your restaurant and get into the rat race that you think is a dream that could very well turn out to be a nightmare once you get in it. But that would be my advice. First step is keep making whatever you're making, and then just take video of it. Put that video up on all social media forums. YouTube is the best paying one. TikTok, it appears you get the best or the quicker following. Instagram seems like the more of the local folk, people that we've noticed that we have way more TikToker followers, but they seem to be scattered all over the world, where a lot of our TikTokers are scattered all over the world as well, but they're kind of in the main cities that we kind of go after: Atlanta, metros, Atlanta cities, our hometown Philly, Detroit. We sell Detroit pizzas, Detroit pies, New York slices. It seems like it kind of goes to those cities in the main part, and then those people kind of travel to us, but the bulk of our followers on IG are in the Atlanta area. After the social media is jumping, start doing pop-ups. Pop-up, start reaching out to people on social media that you know that may have restaurants. We all have downtimes. Now, I'm not saying start reaching out to me about doing pop-ups at my spot, because I'm not going to front like I'm the most that we can do that. You know, it is some liabilities that restaurant owners aren't trying to do, so don't start hitting me up. Well, you say you can do pop-ups, you're going to let me do pop-ups in my spot. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to reach out and see if a restaurant tour may be available to allow you to do pop-up at their spot. Get those pop-ups jumping. After that, once the pop-ups are sort of some great demand, maybe start looking for a used food truck. Find one, take that out on weekends, big events, festivals. And if that's jumping, then maybe you can get a restaurant. Hope that helps.